The 6th gen was my favorite generation for gaming. The PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, and Game Boy Advance. At number 15, I have Ecco the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. Ecco Defender of the Future is far from perfect, but it's still one of my favourite games from the 6th gen. Loved the Ecco games on the Mega Drive because of their tranquility and spiritual feel, and Defender of the Future brings more of that feeling, sense of ambience and relaxation and escapism. Playing as a dolphin that's fighting against an alien invasion is a unique concept. As you'd expect, there's puzzles, and the combat involves dashing and using your sonar. The best part about the game is the exploration. Look at the stunning scenery. You can see the ocean floor and the way the underwater world looks. It's such a beautiful and tranquil experience. The game is known for its difficulty, but I think it's more difficulty spikes, as the hardest parts of the game are actually in the middle part of the game. Near the end of the game is actually not hard. Tekken Tag Tournament kicks off from the greatness that was Tekken 3, except it adds a tag team feature. Of course, it's still got the fluidity of Tekken 3. The tag team feature, it has its own unique aspects, such as if one character from a tag team duo gets KO'd, that team loses, so it makes battles more interesting and strategic. Your tag team duo can also perform a variety of double team attacks too. Otherwise, it's the same great gameplay that Tekken 3 gave us before this game. The fighting feels fluid, the blows feel heavy, the combo system feels very accessible, highly playable and very technical 3D fighting game. At number 13, I have Suikoden 3. Suikoden 3 is a nice JRPG that gives a good moral message, which is not to prejudge someone until you have all the facts. In the game, you're presented the same story, but from the perspective of 3 different characters, and you can watch one story point of view, it'll make you hate another character, but when you see the story point of view from that other character you hated before, you'll see that things weren't their fault. The story isn't too deep, it's another one of the save the world at the end type of thing, but the characters are interesting. The world has good cultural diversity, like the village with the duck people near the swamp. There's European style influences. There's a village in the forest full of Amazonian style tribe women. And of course there's Chinese influences with the 108 Stars of Destiny, which are characters you can recruit that have their own traits, own personality. There's also African influences. The game has turn-based battles, but there's also army battles where you take on many forces and you have to use a lot of strategy and think about defense as well. It's a very nice JRPG. At number 12, I have Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. This game is very charming and nicely presented. Its story is easy to get in the mood for. It's basically searching for an ancient treasure. What makes this game fun is its presentation. It's so colourful, and I like how the battles are presented like a theatre play. The battles are turn-based but also mix real-time elements. Even though it's 2D, you can still explore the environments and there's puzzles. The environments have nice atmospheres. Yes, there's like colourful countryside. There's also spooky areas and dungeons and nice towns and tropical. I like how the story doesn't try too hard. While I'm not big on crime stories, with the exception of Yakuza ones, I really enjoyed Vice City because of its atmosphere. I love the 1980s, I still remember the late 1980s. And the gameplay makes it awesome. You can do whatever you want, and while GTA 3 was the first 3D GTA game, I liked Vice City a lot more. Vice City is still my favourite GTA game until this day because of the atmosphere, the Miami Vice theme. I used to watch Miami Vice back in the late 80s. But yeah, in this game, you can do just about anything you want. You can be a thug, you can commit robberies, you can steal vehicles. You can even fly a helicopter. Even though I don't find the story memorable, it was entertaining enough. It was well presented using the 80s theme. And when you drive around hearing 80s music, it just makes the game better. I also like how you can use speedboats in this game. And yes, I am excited for GTA 6. It's the GTA game I've been most excited about for a long time because it's going for the Miami Vice style theme again. At number 10, I have Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I thought the original Marvel vs. Capcom was an amazing idea. Not just having X-Men and Street Fighter, having all of Marvel and Capcom represented, the tag team format, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 takes it to another level with 3-on-3 team fighting. Just like the first game, the fighting mechanics are very accessible. There's an easy mode so you can perform special moves with the press of a button and super combo with the press of 2 buttons at once. People say Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is objectively better, and that's fair enough, but I still like number 2 more. Its gameplay, I just find it more fun, and I like its bright colours. I think it has a nice representation of the Japanese anime-ish style and the comic book style of Marvel merged. As you would imagine, there's a large and diverse roster of characters. So there's X-Men, there's Street Fighter, there's Mega Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, a whole range of characters. Don't want to go on and on, I'll just say this is one of my favourite 2D fighting games ever made. At number 9, I have Persona 4. I no longer have my PlayStation 2 copy. When I first played Persona 4, it was one of my top 10 JRPGs. The characters are just like real people. You care about them and their real life problems, and you think about them even when you're not playing the game. The game has dating sim elements. You can have multiple girlfriends, you can form friendships, and doing these things does have effect of what happens in battle. The bonds you have with the characters will affect how they help you in battle. The game is also like a life sim. There's only a limited amount of time you have per day. You've got to balance school, studying, hanging out with friends, hanging out with your girlfriend, and you can't accommodate all of this in one day. And sometimes you have to choose not to spend time with a friend, and that can cause a rift in the friendship. If you study more, your character will do better at exams, which will make your character more popular and could help them get a certain girl to date them. And being a Japanese game, the humour is over the top and I love it. I love how the teacher, Mr. Maruka, is so mean and says horrible things about the students and accuses the male students in his class of just wanting sex. The female character, Reset, isn't scared to flaunt her body, but there's a serious feel to the story as there's murder mystery elements, and you develop a bond with a little girl, Nanako, whom her father is a detective and he wants to know who caused Nanako's mother to die. There's supernatural themes. The battle system is turn-based and it's a fairly good one. The story and characters are very captivating. Before I played COR, Escape from Butcher Bay, I really enjoyed the movie Pitch Black, which is set after the Butcher Bay game. And the Chronicles of Riddick movie is set after Pitch Black. Riddick was an awesome character in Pitch Black. Anyways, Escape from Butcher Bay shows how Riddick escapes from the prison and how he survived and got the shine job on his eyeball so he can see well in the dark. And that the game has a lot of stealth. You can play it as a first-person shooter or use stealth. There's also RPG elements as well and side quests. There's also melee combat. The story also shows the relationship between Riddick and the bounty hunter Johns, who was one of the main characters in Pitch Black. The environments aren't all dark and rustic. There's some beautiful sci-fi environments later on in the game. But yeah, the gameplay is very satisfying for a first-person shooter game. If you like the movies Riddick is in, and you'll probably enjoy this game. Jak 3 is one of the most fun games of the 6th gen. A game that mixes 3D platforming, open world, third-person shooter and melee combat. It also has racing elements as well. I like how even though the game has a cartoony style, it has a post-apocalyptic Mad Max style theme. It was very unique. Make no mistake, this isn't like the original Jak game, which is colourful. Jak 3 is set in a war-ravaged world. You can traverse the open world and explore and look for side quests to do. The game has so much variety, it never feels boring. 1 minute you could be doing combat, whether it be shooting or melee, and then the next mission you'll be driving around, racing, and there's vehicle combat as well. There's fetch quests which require a bit of exploration and platforming. The art style is great, and the Mad Max style theme gives it a nice atmosphere. The gameplay mechanics work so well, and it's just such a fun game. At number 6, I have God of War 2. I no longer have it, but I still have God of War 1 and 3. God of War 2 is my second favourite game in the God of War series after God of War 3. It's got great action hack and slash gameplay that's very brutal. Great boss battles against gigantic bosses, and quick time events are used well. I like how the first batch of God of War games showed a darker and more twisted side to Greek mythology. It shows things such as Spartans being hungry for conquest and murdering innocent people, wives being unfaithful, and the gods being cruel. Story picks up after the first game, which shows how Kratos was tricked into murdering his own family and he's out for revenge against the gods. There's not much else to say, but the game looks great, it plays great, and some people don't like Kratos, but it's understandable why he is the way he is, because he was tricked into killing his own family, so he just cares about revenge, and he likes to use sex to try to forget about things. That's why some of the God of War games have the sex mini-game. But yeah, easily one of the best action-adventure games of the 6th gen. At number 5, I have The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Wind Waker is still my favourite Zelda game until now. I find sailing around the world relaxing, and it reminds me of the movie Waterworld, where the world is flooded, and when you do find land, it can feel very rewarding when you scavenge the land for items that will help you on your quest. I actually love the tropical theme for the world. Now, what is the Wind Waker? It's a magical wand that can change wind direction. It can also take Link to different places in the world. So the Wind Waker is important for sailing and for puzzles when you can glide using the Deku Leaf when you're in dungeons or when you're just traversing the landscape. The controls for the game are very tight and still hold up for modern standards. There was a big step up in the tightness of the controls of Wind Waker compared to Ocarina of Time. The game is on the easy side. It can be made even easier when you find heart pieces and bottles with fairies to revive you. But it's still so much fun playing this game. Exploration, sailing are the name of the game, and presentation. You can use a grappler to search the sea floor for treasures as well. There's so many things to do in the game. Sure, you could beat the story easily, but it's fun just to go out and explore, and sailing a flooded world was very intriguing. Yes, I prefer this game over Tears of the Kingdom. Shenmue 2 takes you to a living and breathing Hong Kong. The story follows after the first Shenmue game, where Ryo is after the man who killed his father, and he tracks him from Japan to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is filled with culture and bustling streets. Every NPC you come across has something interesting to say, some sort of story or some sort of information, and you can enter many of the buildings you come across. And I like how stores often sell useless things you don't need to make it feel like it's real world. There's markets, and everywhere you go you'll hear cultural music. The combat in the game is a lot like Virtua Fighter, so there's a fair bit of technical skill, but you can button mash to win if you really want. There's also street fighting places in the game, as well as gambling. Quick time events are also a big part of the gameplay, and the director of the Shenmue series invented the term quick time event. I also like it when you enter apartment buildings. You can go in many of the rooms and see the items of the people who live in the room. It gives clues to the type of person the person who stays in the room is. The world has so much detail. Set in 1980s Hong Kong, so some of the scenery looks a bit rustic, but there's also beautiful scenery such as the water fountain near the seaside port. Story isn't just about revenge though, it has a spiritual side to it, because Ryo will go to temples and they'll explain to him revenge is the wrong path and will lead to destruction. At the end of the game you'll also end up in the beautiful countryside, and the story will take an even more spiritual twist. Metal Gear Solid 3 is in my top 10 favourite games. Rather than focusing on sci-fi environments, the game is set during the Cold War and goes for more jungle environments, which adds more depth to the stealth mechanics. However, even though it's set in the 60s, the story is full of complexity and emotion and twists. I like how the story manages to incorporate so many things, such as a real-world political crisis and spies, the threat of nuclear war. You'll see how the Snake in this game is not the same Snake that is the main character of the first two Metal Gear Solid games, and that adds an emotional factor when you see why. The story also finds a good way to involve romance that is very relevant to the story. There is great characters that have a great amount of complexity. Going back to the stealth, you can use camouflage and you can do things to blend in with the jungle environment. The jungle environments are a bit more open than the environments in the other Metal Gear Solid games before it, so there's creative ways in how you can use stealth. Just like in the other Metal Gear Solid games, there's top-down and first-person shooter mechanics as well. The visual style has a nice hazy feel. It's like it's telling a backstory or something that happened in the past. This game is still regarded by many fans as the best Metal Gear Solid game, and it's no wonder it got a remake because it's such a great story. At number 2, I have Jade Empire. Jade Empire is from BioWare, and it's an RPG that's influenced by Chinese mythology. So the story is influenced a lot by philosophies and spirituality. Like in other BioWare RPGs, or many other BioWare RPGs, you can have select dialogue, and you can be a mean person or you can be nice to people. You can create romance, and there are some beautiful women in this game. The world is actually a fictional world inspired by ancient China. But I like how the game uses Chinese mythology. You'll fight battles against mythological beings such as demons and those fox people from Chinese mythology. I like how one of your party members is a ghost, little girl ghost character. Another character, she's like your instructor, a philosophical teacher. Another party member is a female ninja. The combat in the game is action and, as you can see, very inspired by Kung Fu. You can select many different fighting styles and level them up. I just loved this experience. I loved the feeling of the world, the Asian feel. This is a game that many people are hoping for a sequel to because its world is so mystical and people loved the style and what this game had to offer. For number one, I have no other than Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time. It has a creative story that's not another sci-fi or medieval fantasy story. It's a very imaginative story with great plot twists and a great world to discover. Final Fantasy X is remembered for its love story, which has a lot of chemistry, as well as how its world is influenced by Southeast Asia with beautiful beaches and seaside villages. It also has nice rural areas and mountains. People also love the game Blitzball, which would have made a fun game on its own. I spent tens of hours playing Blitzball leagues and tournaments. Its battle system is turn-based, but it has a lot of tactical depth. You can substitute characters in and out. Yuna is the only character capable of summoning, and her summons can be very powerful, but it means you need to take extra care to protect her since she's the only one who can summon. You can also use the summons like party members, and if you're good enough, you can beat the game by not level grinding, just by using strategy and summons. Or you can level grind and make your characters godly if you want. It's up to you. I like the sphere grid because it lets you fine-tune character stats and abilities. The character Auron is one of my favorite video game characters. Its story has thousands of years of history. I don't want to go too much into the story for people who are yet to play the game, but its story has incredible twists and revelations, the way supernatural themes come into the story and how they interact with the world. The world itself has so much history. I keep coming back to this game. I've beaten it many times. I've probably put in maybe 500 hours into the game and I've platinumed it. My favourite 6th gen game, and it's my favourite game of all time. I'll finish this off by letting you watch one of my favourite scenes from the game. For an honourable mention, I have Shadow Hearts Covenant, a great JRPG that has a World War I setting and uses real historical figures. The next honourable mention I have is Skies of Arcadia, another great JRPG set in a world with floating land masses. As you can see, it also has characters from Valkyria Chronicles. Another honourable mention is F-Zero GX. It's in my top 2 racing games. Its racing is fast and insane and awesome, and I love its futuristic atmosphere. I'll also give honourable mentions to some Game Boy Advance games such as Metroid Fusion, which has a great atmosphere, and I don't have a copy of it, but Golden Sun as well, which is a very charming JRPG from the 6th gen. So that wraps up my video. Take care, everyone.